I know exactly what happens when you try to remember what actually occurred. You play it back in your mind. You search for the moment. You are almost certain of what was said, what was done, what you felt. And then someone looks at you calmly and tells you that is not what happened. Not with anger, not with obvious cruelty, with a quiet, steady certainty that makes you feel like you are the unreliable one. And the terrifying part is not that they said it. The terrifying part is that you start to believe them. You begin to wonder if your memory is broken. You begin to wonder if your feelings are always this exaggerated. You begin to wonder if the problem in every room and every relationship is always somehow you. But there is something nobody has ever told you about what is happening in those moments. And once you understand it, you will never be able to unsee it. Your memory is not broken. Your empathy is being used against you. There's a pattern that certain people use, not always consciously, not always with full awareness of what they are doing, that takes your most human qualities and turns them into the exact tools used to keep you confused, small, and dependent on their version of reality. Your kindness, your willingness to understand their side, your genuine desire to be fair. These are not weaknesses, but in the wrong hands, they become the door through which manipulation enters. And the manipulation does not announce itself. It does not arrive loud or obvious. It arrives wearing the face of reason. It says things like, "You are too sensitive." It says, "You always do this." It says, "I never said that. You are remembering it wrong." It says, "I was only trying to help you." And because you are someone who actually cares about being fair, you pause. You consider their point. You genuinely ask yourself, is it possible I am wrong about this? That pause, that honest, generous pause, is where the trick happens. Here is what your brain is doing in that moment. Memory is not a recording. This is the most important thing to understand, and it is a thing almost no one tells you. Your brain does not work like a camera that captures an event and stores it unchanged. Your brain works more like a sculptor. Every time you remember something, you're not replaying a file, you are reconstructing it. You are reaching into the materials of what you experienced, the feelings, the fragments, the impressions, and you are reconstructing it in the present moment. That reconstruction is influenced by your current emotional state. It is influenced by what you have been told since the event. It is influenced by the confidence of the person speaking to you right now. Psychologists call this memory reconsolidation. The simple version is this. Every time you remember something, that memory becomes slightly rewritable. Not because you are careless or dramatic, but because this is how every human brain works. And someone who understands this, consciously or not, can use it. They can repeat a false version of events calmly and consistently. They can add small details that feel plausible. They can express just enough hurt or confusion that your empathy activates. And your empathy, that deep, genuine desire to understand another person's experience, begins to soften your certainty. You think, maybe I misread the situation. Maybe I was too emotional to see clearly. Maybe my version is the distorted one. This is not stupidity. This is not weakness. This is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Your brain was designed to update based on new information. Your brain was designed to take other people's perspectives seriously. Your brain was designed to maintain relationships by finding shared ground. But what happens when the new information is false? What happens when the other person's perspective is deliberately constructed? What happens when the shared ground being offered is actually a trap? Your greatest strengths become the mechanism of your own confusion. Now, here is where the second layer of this works. It is not just memory that gets targeted. It's your emotional memory. There are moments in certain relationships where someone is extraordinarily kind to you, deeply attentive, warm, present, understanding in a way that feels rare and real. Those moments get stored differently in your brain. They get stored with a kind of brightness, a vividness, the kind of emotional weight that makes them easy to return to. And then when something happens that feels wrong, when something is said that cuts, when something is done that seems cruel or dismissive, that person points back to the bright moments. And maybe that is where you are right now. Someone has pointed you back to the bright moments. And you are standing there trying to do the calculation, trying to weigh what was real against what was kind, trying to figure out if your pain is allowed to exist alongside their goodness.